we're going to dive straight in and do the water test. The water test is designed for you to get used to using your Instant Pot, and all you need is water. 1 liter of water to be exact. So let's dive in. First of all, we put the water inside the inner pot. You always put all your ingredients inside the inner pot that comes with your Instant Pot. Always. So we pour the liter of water in. So the water is in, all we need to now is the lid. It's very important when we're going to pressure cook that the steam release handle, this is the steam release handle, is pointing to sealing, because we want to seal the steam that the water is going to generate inside, which is going to allow the sealing ring, this is the sealing ring, to expand under pressure and create a sealed chamber, which will allow us to pressure cook. Without a sealed chamber, we're gonna pressure cook. We place it in. We line up the arrows. There's an arrow here, and an arrow there, and another arrow there. So when we get it in, we want to line up first the arrow with this arrow here, and then hear that? That means it's in place, and then we turn it, and that's it, locked in. Do you want to try it again just in case? Let's do it. So we point the arrow with the arrow. There's 2 arrows, one over here, one over there. So one will be, if you're facing your Instant Pot, I'm sideways right now, if you're facing your Instant Pot, one is on your right and one is on your left. You want to line up the top big arrow with the arrow on the right, and then bring it over to this arrow on the left. We have the steam release handle pointing to sealing, right? Perfect. Now we're going to press pressure cook. Mine is already set to 2 minutes, but yours might say something different because it's come straight from the factory. You can turn it up and down here. See? Have a little play while you're at it. Nothing bad is going to happen. And then we're going to come and do 2 minutes. Don't forget, these are hours, these are minutes. So 0002 is 2 minutes. If we had, for example, 0200, that would be 2 hours. So remember, hours, minutes. There are no seconds in the Instant Pot. Now we're going to hear beep. There you go. And that's it. It's locked onto this pressure cooking mode, and it will say on. It will say on until it reaches pressure. We're going to leave it doing the water test. You won't hear very much. It will say on for a while. It depends on how cold the water is coming out. It could be 10 minutes. Don't worry if you don't hear much. At one point it will start, a bit of steam will start coming out, and you will see the float valve trying to pop up. It might not pop up at the first time. Sometimes it just needs a little bit more of a push. We all do, don't we? So this steam will push it up until it's fully up, and then from the float valve going up to the countdown, there is actually a little bit of a delay. So don't worry if your float valve goes up, but the countdown doesn't start straight away, because that means your Instant Pot is working hard to reach the right internal pressure for the pressure cooking process. I can hear it. We're starting to produce steam inside. So I'm going to get the camera off the tripod, and I'm going to show you what the float valve is doing. So this is the float valve here. Do not put your finger on it. I'm being brave doing that. Obviously there's going to be a steam coming out of it. You can hear the steam being generated inside the Instant Pot, and it's pushing the float valve up. And you can see the float valve is starting to rise with the steam. It's not made it just yet, and that's because not enough steam has been generated. There you go, it's up. Cool, huh? So now, if we look at the screen again, it still says on. As I said earlier, it's going to say on for a little while longer, and then it's going to reach the right internal temperature, and it's going to start the countdown. It won't be long now. Of course I said that, and now it's going to be ages, isn't it? Because when you're thinking about something, always remember this. A watched Instant Pot never boils or never reaches pressure. There we go. The countdown has started. And now we go from 2 to 1 to then 0. And it will beep to say it's finished. Water test completed. Well done. You've done it. But every time you pressure cook, it's going to be quite similar to this. So you are doing fantastically well as already. Now, what do we do next? We have all this steam trapped inside, because remember we need this to generate the steam to make the flow valve go up, for the sealing ring to expand, and so we will have a sealed chamber. So now we have all this extremely hot water inside and a lot of steam, so it has to go somewhere, right? So there are two ways of doing this. There is the let it dissipate way, in which we call the natural pressure release, and you do nothing. You just let it be. Right now your Instant Pot is on keep warm. It goes automatically to keep warm unless you disable the keep warm function. So you can tell it's on keep warm because the keep warm light is on, but also because there's this L and it's counting up now. It's not counting down anymore, it's counting up from 0 up to 10 hours. It will keep that water on keep warm for you. Now, we want to start cooking more, don't we? So we want to get rid of this steam that is trapped inside. So we could leave it be, in about 15 minutes or so. And this is just a rule of thumb. Don't go by the 15 minutes. The flow valve will pop back down because the steam will dissipate on its own without us doing anything. But we want to start cooking and we want to get to know our Instant Pot better. So we're going to do a quick pressure release, which means basically moving the steam release handle from sealing to venting. I'm going to move the camera so that you can see that better at close up. Now, as you can see, we have it pointing to sealing because you did that earlier. Now we're going to move it to venting. So I have to be very careful because the steam is going to shoot up and go to my camera, and you have to do the same. Never put your hand above it. So all we're going to do is show you how I do it. Some people use gadgets or pudding spoon or stuff. I just reach from the side because the steam is going to shoot up from up here, and You can hear that the steam doesn't have as much force anymore, which means it's running out of steam inside, and the flow valve will soon drop back down. The lid will be locked until that flow valve pops back down. Never try to force the lid. There you go, it's gone down. This also means that with the flow valve now down, your lid has unlocked. Until now, it has been locked. So we're going to open the lid. And there you go, we have tons of hot water that we have just pressure cooked. Well done. So you've just done the water test. Well done. It's a huge first step. I know it can be scary. I'm pretty sure I did the first one from behind the door, hiding. I am a child of the 70s, so I remember the old pressure cookers. This is nothing like that. It was pretty silent, huh? So some takeaways from this lesson, from the water test. First of all, easy, isn't it? Second, don't forget, the flow valve going up means it has reached pressure. Then there is a delay in between the flow valve going up and the Instant Pot reaching the internal pressure that is correct for pressure cooking to be able to start the countdown. So Instant Pot is going to say on for a bit in between the flow valve rising and reaching pressure and then the countdown starting. So if that ever happens, don't panic. A lot of the times we set it off and walk away and don't even notice this and then come back to it and think, did it do that before? Yes, it did. Another thing to remember, once the flow valve is up, the lid is locked. Do not mess with the lid. Same thing when it finishes. We have to get rid of that steam somehow so that we are able to open the lid. And that's because the flow valve is still up. The steam is keeping the flow valve up and we need to help the flow valve pop back down. You can do that by doing nothing, or you can do that by intervening and letting the pressure out manually. It's more scary, but you will soon get used to it.